Using the definition of derivatives, we're going to find the derivative of the square root of 4x minus 1. Well, we have to first remember what the definition of a derivative is. It's the limit as h goes to 0 of f at x plus h minus f at x all over h. What we then do is we sub in x plus h to the function formula, and we sub in x to the function formula as well. And we have this expression here. We then want to simplify that, and recalling our methods for algebraically determining limits, we realize that we can multiply numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the numerator, which is what we do here. Notice that the quantity under the first square root and the second square root is the same as in the original expression, but instead of a minus sign in between, we have a plus sign in between. Well, what happens is the square root of 4x plus 4h minus 1 times the square root of 4x plus 4h minus 1 is 4x plus 4h minus 1. We then add this square root times this square root and subtract this square root times this square root. Well, those are identical terms, so they cancel out. We then have minus the square root of 4x minus 1 times the square root of 4x minus 1. So we're going to subtract the quantity 4x minus 1 as a whole. In the next line, we'll remember to distribute the minus sign into that bracket, and we'll have this expression in the numerator. The denominator is a little more complex looking, but we know that we're going to be looking to cancel out a factor of h because we're taking the limit as h goes to 0. And so we can anticipate that, so there's no point in distributing this h in the denominator. After simplifying the numerator, we get the expression 4h. Well, we can now cancel this h out with that h, and we're left with the limit as h goes to 0 of 4 over this expression. At this point, we can sub in a value of 0 for h. And the square root of 4x plus 0 minus 1 is the same as the square root of 4x minus 1. So we're taking the square root of 4x minus 1 and adding the square root of 4x minus 1. So we have 2 of those square root of 4x minus 1s. And then we recognize we have a factor of 4 and a factor of 2. We can simplify, and ultimately the derivative is 2 over the square root of 4x minus 1.